She sat 2 seats away from me, laughing. Not whispering. Not crying. Just laughing. A wine glass in hand, perched in her mother's kitchen, she said it clear as day. I'm divorcing him. I can't live on that pathetic salary anymore. Those were her exact words. She didn't realize the sound carried through the wall. But I did, because I had repaired that wall myself. I knew the weak spots where noise slipped through. She also didn't realize I'd stopped reacting long ago. She thought she'd already won. She thought I didn't hear her mother say, "Take everything. He's too soft to fight back." She believed I hadn't caught on to the sudden switch, how her cold silence at night turned into phony smiles, fake affection, and forced dinners. She believed I was weak. But it wasn't always like that. 3 years earlier, she'd hum love songs while pressing my shirts. She told me she admired how grounded I was. I worked as a mechanical engineer, not flashy but steady. She used to say that stability made me attractive. Then everything shifted. Her friends started marrying up. Attorneys, CEOs, the rich sons of influential families. Stability became boring. What once was love turned into constant comparison. I offered her security. She craved luxury. I remember the first cut. Her influencer cousin had come to visit. She introduced me as just a small-time engineer, but sweet. It was subtle, but sharp. I smiled, and I took mental notes. The true betrayal struck one Thursday evening. I stumbled across a printed document in the kitchen drawer. She didn't realize the printer kept a history log. It was titled, "Divorce Strategy." Underneath, bullet points. Claim the house. Demand alimony. Keep quiet about his private account. He'll never bring it up. She knew about my private investment portfolio, something I'd built long before we met. And she told her attorney it didn't exist. Why? Because if I never brought it up in court, it wasn't considered joint property. She assumed I'd stay quiet. So I did. From that moment, I began collecting evidence. Quietly, methodically. I installed a disguised app on her phone, appearing as a calendar widget. It recorded conversations and synced her messages. I watched her practice her courtroom speech in the mirror. Saw her rehearse tears, saying, "I've sacrificed everything. I can't keep pretending." I listened as she told her friends how she'd win the house, the money, and the sympathy. She said, "He'll actually thank me for taking everything. He's too much of a coward to fight." I smiled and played the fool. When her attorney sent over the divorce terms, I signed them without a single objection. No arguments. No resistance. She grinned as she slid the papers toward me. "Thanks for not making this harder," she said. "You deserve everything," I replied, and signed. She didn't know what I meant by everything. A week later, she moved into her new house. She believed the deed was hers. I let her settle in. Then I activated the clause. 3 years before we married, I had placed that property under a shell corporation, managed by a trust. That trust was tied directly to my private investment portfolio, the very one she pretended didn't exist. Her name was never on any of it. She never even thought to ask. I gave it a month. Let her repaint, redesign, celebrate. Then I sent the eviction notice. It came from the company that legally owned the property. 15 days to vacate. Repossession in process. She panicked and called her lawyer. He was just as confused. So I sent him a handwritten note. "You should have asked about the fund." He called her. I listened in. His voice trembled. "Why didn't you tell me about this? Why didn't you read the letter they sent?" She screamed, then called me. "What are you doing? This is my house now." "No," I said calmly. "It never was." She tried to fight it, tried to play the victim, tried to win sympathy from friends. So I released everything. Recordings of her rehearsed sobs, her scheming conversations, the divorce plan, her own voice saying, "He's too soft to fight." Overnight, the sympathy dried up. No one sides with a manipulator toasting her strategy with a glass of wine. Exactly 16 days later, I walked back into my home. The paint she'd chosen was still fresh. Her perfume still lingered in the air. But she was gone. And so was her mask. I never ruined her. I didn't need to. She built her empire on lies. I simply let it collapse. She moved back in with her mother. No house. No alimony. No assets. And me. I said nothing. No gloating. No posts. No public story. I just lived. People confuse silence for weakness. But silence is a weapon. A strategy. I let her think I was powerless. I handed her the shovel and let her dig. She wanted to scar me, but in the end, she was the one shattered. I walked away with everything. And not a trace of regret.